Welcome everybody to a new analysis of Trinomics, focus on pharma, biotech, and life science stocks. According to the last analysis issued, I picked up some of the stocks that I had already analyzed, and I put also some new ones to create this episode focused specifically on this industry. So let's start with Abbvie. So I issued an analysis or a couple analyses back 1 month ago, roughly, in which I was flagging the possibility to continue the rally for Abbvie, given that we had an interesting setup in which a T plus 5 upward cycle is positive or turned into a positive after the break um, occurred with this candle made on the 25th of July 2024 after 93 bars or 93 days. So basically, according to the duration that you can always check on the right hand side, T plus 5 can last between 190 up to 338 days. And given that now this T plus 5 has turned into a positive cycle, then we can expect the extension of the entire duration of a T plus 5, which is encompassed in the duration, to the upside. Because now the rally will keep going until the minimum or the mid duration, which is roughly 250 days up to 338 days. So basically here, given that the analysis was issued, I think a month ago, here we are abiding the plan. So we have had this nice rally, and now we are consolidating the price in a range between $199 and here with the low at $189. So all is going according to the plan and the analysis. So here a brief update. So from this stop here, given that we have already spent um, 19 bars below the top. Here we can have the beginning of a T plus 3 or a T plus 4 upward cycle. But given that we know that this T plus 5 is positive, then the expectation is to return back to the maximum tops at roughly $200. Um, Considering the downward cycles here, we have done from this T plus 5 at the beginning of the downward yearly cycle, the first T plus 2. And now we are closing, or we have already closed the, last week, the second T plus 2. If we gauge the total duration here, we have 44 bars, perfectly in line with the maximum duration. And now from this low made on the 26th of September, we can expect a T plus 2 or a T plus 3. Why a T plus 3? Because the sum of the first monthly cycle and second monthly cycle can give a wider cycle, in this case of 82 days. So therefore here we can expect a T plus 3. This checkpoint here, price level at $195 has been already broken up. So let's see during the course of this week if the price will immediately go back to the stop, or whether the price will still keep in a phase of consolidation. Um, so at the moment here, we can remove the arrow just to clean a little bit the chart. So the expectation here, as said during the analysis, the last analysis, is to return to the tops. Now, the thing is that we can gauge and estimate the time for this rally. So from this top, we are at 139 bars, so we can extend the rally at least up to 190 days, which means that we can that the price can keep going up until 11th of December 2024, but also can also go up to or beyond the 2025 for a median duration, which is roughly in mid of March 2025. Okay, so that's the situation we have at the moment. We don't have other price references because here we are at all-time high. One of the targets is roughly, or what I've seen from banks report, is around the $210 for the first step, and then let's see whether we will have more time to proceed the rally. But what is important to note is that we have plenty of time to continue the rally to the upside. So let's move to the next. The second stock I selected for you is elililly. So considering the period, I thought it was a nice idea to analyze it, because actually Lilly is coming from really nice uptrend, and from uh, the the minimum or the low made on the roughly the 1st of March 2023, the stock gain at this higher level 216.87%. Now, using our T-cycle analysis, what we can say regarding this rally. So first of all, in order to understand at which point we are, let's have a look at the downward cycles. So from this low, we started a T+5 or a nearly cycle that was closed on the 25th of April after 292 bars or 292 days. And now we are on the second downward yearly cycle. This second downward yearly cycle has made a first T+3 almost neutral cycle, because the low in which it ended was roughly was more or less close to the low from which it started. So this is a neutral downward cycle. And now we are on the second T+3. We are on the second T+3, and if we gauge the total duration from this low to today's low, we have a total duration of 30 39 bars. So here we don't have time to have another sub-cycle or a weekly sub-cycle to get a T+2, because otherwise we would go beyond 44 bars. If we gauge the duration not to that low but to this low, we have 23 bars. So here we don't have a T+2 but a T+1. Now, if we gauge the duration from this low to today's candle, we have 15 bars. So we have a T+1 and another T+1, making a T+2. Now we have to see whether from this low we can start a new T+2. And if we start a new T+2, then we will have to reach this target area at around $939, $940. But the question is, will we be able to reach these levels? Well, we have to wait. We cannot now know in advance what is going to happen, but for sure we can say that we are about to complete a T+2, and therefore we can expect another T+2. We can expect another T+2, and therefore reaching this area at $940, $941. But we have also to keep into consideration the upward cycles. So now, looking at the upward cycles, and here we get back to December 2022, we have started a T+5 upward cycle of this shape that ended on this top on the Friday 13th of October 2023. As you can see, you can always gauge the duration, and in here we had 216 bars, or 216 days. Now, from this top, we had a second T plus 5 yearly upward cycle, and if we gauge now the duration to the absolute top all-time high, here we have 218 bars. So 218 bars is encompassed between 190 and 338. Therefore, from this top, we might potentially have the beginning of a T plus 5. It's not, we cannot take it for granted that from here we can have a T plus 5, because here we don't have enough duration to have a T plus 5, and the retracement has not been so harsh at the moment to develop such a wide cycle. But we have all the necessary and sufficient condition that from this top might come a T plus 5. If it comes a T plus 5, the consequence is that we cannot go back to the absolute tops before 48 bars, because we need a certain time below the tops, and in this case is 2 degrees less of a T plus 5, therefore a T plus 3. So 48 bars is the minimum duration to basically develop the shape. So that's why here, if we have a T plus 5, we cannot go back immediately to the top. This is a little bit a force that can push the price further down, but here we have a force that can push the price back to this area at least, because we can expect a T plus 2. Now here, what I can do is what I would do is to put T and see whether the next week will reveal additional information about the beginning of this new cycle. So at the moment, here we are neutral. There are no specific information regarding whether the price can go either into this area or in this area or keep falling. Therefore, here we have to be a little bit conscious that the market is not giving us clear information regarding the future direction of the price. There is, I would say, tendency to, given the shape of this first T plus 1 and second T plus 1, to return in an area of $941. But we will need to monitor how many days we will stay over this low at $858. Okay, so that's the situation at the moment on Eli Lilly. So that we can move to the next one, which is the competitors given the GLP-1 products, which is Novo Nordisk. On Novo Nordisk, the setup of the chart is definitely different. We issued an analysis 2-3 weeks ago in which I was flagging up here the possibility to have a T plus 5. And considering that now after this T plus 2, we have had an harsh retracement going lower to this low, here there is, and we have already 67 bars below the top. Here we can update the chart by putting a T plus 5. So the analysis here was correct. So I was flagging the possibility not to come back to the stop before a certain amount of time. We add the T plus 2, and now here we are pushing from this top, the HFT pushed the price back to the lows. Now, given that today's candle is lower compared to this one, here I was putting a question mark regarding this T plus 4. This T plus 4 is negative because after this T plus 3, the low from which ended the T plus 3 is at $118.49, and here the low from which this T plus 4 I started is 120.97. Therefore, this T plus 4 is negative. And this T plus 4 is made of the first T plus 3, and now we have a second cycle. If we gauge the total duration, though, we are at 100 bars. So here we have the sufficient and necessary condition even to close this T plus 4. But considering that here we have the first T plus 3 and here we have a shape or a certain amount of time plus some price levels that have been breaking, like this one at $134, and also this one at 100, yes, still at the same $134.46, and this one was $133.99. Here there is really the possibility to have a T plus 3. So here the risk is to proceed to the downside. Why? Because we have a first T plus 3 and a second T plus 3. This T plus 3 has reached a total duration of 37 bars. So we haven't reached the minimum duration of 48 bars. And if we gauge the duration until this point here, we have a T plus 1. Let's zoom better. Okay. So here we have a T plus 1. So we have a similar situation as for elililly. Here we have T plus 1. And now we have another T plus 1 in completion. Considering that here we have the first T comes here, and the second weekly downward cycle is now negative because we have a shape of this kind. If we gauge the duration, we have 5 days. So basically, and here is the added value by watching this channel. So here with this candle, the downtrend is not over because we have a first weekly cycle that is negative and a second weekly cycle that is negative, of course, because the T plus 1 is negative per se. But if we gauge the duration, here we have 5 bars out of at least 6. So today's candle is a fake, let's say fake bounce of the dead cat. But by tomorrow or by end of next week, we will update the lowest or the lows. Therefore, we can expect more downtrend, and this is this gap up occurred on the beginning of the year can be the first target. And if they want to exaggerate this week or also the next one, we can reach $108. Now the thing is that we can do this according to the time of a T plus 2, which is now 38 days. So we can proceed the downtrend until the 8th of October. So all this week plus beginning of the next one. And the 8th of October is in line also with a maximum duration of a weekly cycle. So we can have 11 plus eventually a T hybrid 12 days. So this is perfectly in line. So really be careful at Novo Nordisk, because here the downtrend is not over. So for this week, we expect more downtrend, at least for tomorrow. but we can have also time until end of the week to proceed the downtrend. And given that we don't have now a push to the upside for a T+2, what we can say is that this T+3, which is now negative, can extend the duration of the downtrend until 48 days, so until 14th of October. But considering that we might have also a T+2, then we can have downtrend also for a medium duration, which is around 60 days, so until end of October 2024. So be careful at this situation, as Novo Nordisk is having a retracement period, or looking at the short term, more a downtrend. So let's move to the next one. Thermofisher is a little bit the outsider of this group because it's more a life science company rather than a pharmaceutical company. But for a matter of completeness, given that I released an analysis some time ago regarding the possibility to extend the rally for Thermo Fisher, here I give you an updated analysis. So here we have this topper that represents the T+5 upward cycle that was broken up with this candle on the 26th of July 2024. Therefore, here we can proceed extending the rally, and this rally can last until 190 days at least. So we can expect a rally or a prosecution to the upside until at least the 9th of December 2024 regarding a base case scenario, or we can also have a mid case scenario in which the price can proceed to the upside until 250, roughly 250 days. So here we can go up to March, beginning of March 2025. So here we have basically we are abiding the analysis. So we have had the first T+2, a T+2, and here a T+1 actually, because here we have, yes, 16 bars. So here I have to change the T+2. So we have had a T+2 plus a T+1 making a T+3. First T+3 and second T+3 that ended up potentially on this top after 65 bars. Now here we are, we have a certain number of bars below the top, and we have 13 bars below the top. So this is consolidation phase, and what we can say regarding the downward cycle is that we have had a first T+3 3-month cycle, second 3-month cycle, third 3-month cycle, and now we are on the fourth 3-month cycle, divided in the first T+1, T+2, and here we have another cycle, but in this case is a T+1, because from this low to this low on the 24th of February 2024, we have 14 bars. Now here we have the necessary and sufficient condition eventually to have a T+3, and therefore we don't have to go below the stop at $596, but we can proceed towards the maximum top. I would not exclude to have another consolidation phase, because if this is a T+2 and is negative, then the price has to return back to the lows to reach at least $596. But we don't have to, because as we have seen on Thermo Fisher, we can have a T+2 plus a T+1, and here we can have the same, a T+2, and this T+2 lasted 41 bars plus a T plus 1. Okay, so here the midterm guidance is definitely to the upside, but here we have to wait whether we will go down or lower to this low, or we can definitely break up the tops here at $627. So that's the situation on um, on thermofisher. Here I put also a new T, and let's see whether during this week we will proceed to break the first top here. That would be the first target at $623, and then eventually at $627. So that said, let's move to the next one. Regarding Teva, in the last video that I issued, I was flagging the possibility to have a Biotech T plus 3 between 2 T plus 6. And I was saying that this could have been an extra time before a retracement. Now, the thing is that I was saying it because if we gauge the total duration until this top, we have 309 bars or 309 days. The thing is that we have had an extra time in which the price kept going up. But now, if we gauge the total duration from this top until this one, we have 103 bars. So here we have a T plus 3, but if we stretch until the absolute top on the 4th of September 2024, we have a duration which is more than a T plus 3, therefore a T plus 4. So here we are in a situation in which we have volumes that have pushed the price to the upside, but if we gauge the duration, we have more than a T plus 5. And if we take the duration from the top of the T plus 5 until the absolute top here made on the 3rd of September, we have 411 bars, which is a T plus 6, so a 2 years cycle. Now, first of all, let's remove the arrows and let's try to better understand what this could be. So, in my experience on the stocks, when there is a let's say a 2-year cycles that cannot be divided in the first yearly and the second yearly cycle, it means that there are a lot of buyers that are pushing the price to rally, so to the upside, and therefore there is not enough time to create all the conditions to begin a yearly cycle. But we have T plus 4 6-month cycle. So like in this case, we have had a T plus 4. Here, we didn't have enough time to begin another T plus 4, and we went up immediately. Then we had another T plus 2, and then another T plus 2. Now we have time to have a T plus 6. Therefore, we have to monitor two things to understand the future direction. The first one is this top at $19.08. So I put also an horizontal line here, and I color it in red, in green. I will tell you after why. And the second one is another price level that come across here at $17.01, and this is red. Why? So from this top, we have a new upward cycle, which at the moment can be classified, considering the total candles below the top, a T plus 3, because we have a T plus 1, a duration of a T plus 1 that stands below the stop. So at the moment we have a T plus 3. I can also put here T plus 3. But from this low, we have potentially a T plus 2, because if we gauge the duration from this T plus 3 until this first T plus 2, we have 24 bars. And if we do the same, we have another 25 bars. So here, potentially with this low on the 10th of September 2024, we have a significant swing. And if this swing is broken down, when we can have a further downtrend. But if this top swing will be broken up, then we can have further rally to the upside. So at the moment, we are not in a situation in which we can clearly understand which trend the price will follow, because we have two critical price levels, and depending on the trend or the sideway that the price will follow, then we at that point we could learn more about the situation on Teva. Therefore, I'm not gonna give any, or not gonna draw any arrow, but I leave you with the 19.09 and 17.01 as the two critical swing to better understand the future direction of the price. If the top or the low will be broken, then the second thing will be to gauge the total duration, and at that particular point in time we will understand how long the price will follow a certain pathway. As a second thing, here we have definitely the confirmation of a T plus 5. So the last T plus 5 was done of 223 bars, and here definitely we can put the T plus 5, because now we have enough days over this low to define it as a T plus 5. So in case we will start a retracement that will start getting breaking up this area around 1581, and subsequently also 1562, then from this top we will have not just a T plus 3 but a T plus 5 or even something more. Otherwise, if we will break this this eye at 19.09, then we will have another another upcycle turn into a positive one. Okay, so let's move to the next one, which is Bayer. Bayer has definitely an interesting setup, because we were waiting signal to better understand whether this phase that started roughly in March 2024 was an accumulation period to um, representing a restart for the company. And we had the confirmation with this candle occurred Friday 27 September 2024. Most importantly, this candle broke up this one, the candle on the 6th of September 2024, and also this one, which is the most important one, on the 14th of May 2024. If you go to other channels and those that are applying the technical analysis, of course, €30 was really important resistance area. But for those applying the quantitative analysis or the cycle analysis, here now we have definitely a competitive advantage over the others not applying this technique, because knowing that from desktop we have a T plus 5 and we broke up this cycle after 98 bars with today's candle 99. Basically, we have other roughly 90 days to proceed to the upside, because now the cycle, the yearly cycle, has turned into a positive one. Therefore, the extension of its duration will be just to the upside. So therefore, the first insight that they're going to give you is how long can the price keep following this pathway? And the answer is the price will follow this pathway at least until 190 days, which is until February 10 of February 2025. In the base case scenario. Otherwise, we can go up to 260 days, which is a median duration. Therefore, here we can proceed the extension of the rally until May, roughly around the first week of May 2025, or even beyond. Of course, there will be some pullbacks, but for a mid to long term vision, that's how the situation looks like on Bayer. And this does not depend on earnings release. So that is simply a matter of algorithms. Now, if you want to focus more on the short term, what we can notice here is that from this top, we had the beginning of a T plus 3, which was broken up after just 15 days. So the sooner the cycle is broken, the longer the time we have to proceed to extend the rally. But now we have reached with today's candle 16 bars. So potentially here we might have a weekly upward cycle to begin, or even a T plus 1. So for the next 2-3 days, we might see the price maybe floating or pulling back a little bit, and after that we will see a return to the absolute tops. Okay, so regarding the downward cycles, here we have reached 11 days, but I know that the weekly upward cycle was no, the weekly cycle was closed here. So here potentially we might have also the closing of a T plus 1. So a couple of days, 2 or 3 days for little retracement, but then we will start going back up again. Okay, so that's the situation on the short term. On the mid term, we know how Bayer is set up. So this is all, and let's move to the last one, which is Pfizer. So Pfizer is the most difficult stock to frame because, as you can see from the chart, there are several hybrid cycles. So we have an hybrid cycle here, another one here, another one here. So there is a tendency for Pfizer not to follow standard duration, but go into hybrid duration, which are pretty seldom. But we have to take into account this, and as it's our job to frame correctly, then let's have a look at what is going to happen so that we can better understand the future direction of the price. So first of all, this low at um, $24.48 is the low from which a T plus 5 yearly downward cycle started. And this T plus 5 has been divided in the first T plus 2 monthly downward cycle, another T plus 2 monthly downward cycle. The sum has given a T plus 3, and now we are on the second T plus 3. This second T plus 3 at the moment has reached a total duration with the candle on first day 28 bars. So this is 28 bars to gauge the duration, but the candle of reference is here, Thursday, 26 September. So now potentially here on this green candle, we have without potentially here we have a T, so a weekly cycle, but we have to see whether we will have also the beginning of a T plus 2. So at the moment we don't have a really nice push, and we are touching the moving average 50 and 21 periods at the moment. So here there is a resistance area, and now we have to understand whether this resistance area will continue to push back the price, or whether this resistance will be broken in the next days. We have a T plus 2 ongoing, and what is important to note is that from this top, we have potentially the beginning of a T plus 4, T plus 5. For sure, we have a T plus 4. For a T plus 5, we need not so many days more, 43. So we need 5 days more below this top to have the condition of a T plus 5. But also this candle is definitely important, because here we have a T plus 3. So if this low with this candle at $28.31 will be broken, therefore we might have the possibility also to break this T plus 3, and therefore that the situation will turn into negative. But as far as this not happens, then here we potentially might have the closing of a T plus 2, but we have also to watch next days or weeks whether the price will broken this resistance area as said. Eventually, if the price breaks this to a moving average, the first target will be this first candle at 29.71, and the second target will be $30.35. If we go over this swing at 30.35, then we might have the condition to have a T plus 2 turn into a positive one, and definitely room to reach the top at 31.54. But as far as this is not happening, then we have to keep monitor the price into the next weeks or days. At the moment, we don't have really operational signals, at least here in this chart, the overnight. Of course, we have also segmentation in intraday session, so this is mostly for short-term traders or speculators, if you want it. But at the moment, we are seeing a beginning of a T plus 5, and positive signals, definitely positive signal, will be the break of $31.54. Okay, so that's the situation that we can see on Pfizer. Not much to say on top of it. I've given you the swings and the targets. We don't have cycles that is turning into positive or negative. So at the moment, we have to watch and wait for the next weeks or the next days, how the price will behave. Okay, so this was the last one. I hope that this video has given you a lot of insights. As always, if you wanted to support our daily job, feel free to put a like and subscribe to the channel in order to get notified as soon as possible for all the analysis that we issue on a regular basis. So thanks for watching, and see you to the next episode.